We should be good then.
So episode 2, what is episode 2? What are we doing?
Okay. So we had talked about the first one. We were going to introduce ourselves, kind of talk about who we are, why we wanted to start doing this. And we didn't really do that because
Mm.
really we just gave you like a live show into what our lunches look like, our business meetings and lunches, which essentially is what made us decide let's just start filming these conversations because some people might be interested in some of the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about who we are. I don't know.
Yeah. What brought us to yoga?
Yeah.
Why yeah. What kinda, like,
Well, we'll
brought us
start with
in?
you,
Oh,
Michael. Michael. So,
okay.
how did you start yoga?
So I was a troubled youth, you know?
So
Um,
relatable.
yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of us, have somewhat troubled youths in some form or fashion. My troubled youth, resulted in addiction, and I TMI, went to jail many a time, unfortunately, by my own stupidity, right?
That's not
Um,
TMI.
yeah,
That's
I
just
mean,
life.
it's life. It just
It's
happens.
life.
And fell into, addiction, hang out with the wrong crowd, uh, just started doing more and more and different things. And, honestly, as much as I, say it was a bad thing I went to jail so much, jail really like getting caught, going to jail, revoking my probation multiple times led me down the path to, you know, saving my life. If
Figure it out.
yeah, figuring it out. Because if I would have never if I would have never been in that position, and if my dad would have never made me go to jail, like, if he never was like if he was always getting me out or whatever, he's like, "No, you're nope, you're staying you did this,
Mhm.
you're gonna suffer the
Mm.
consequences," which now that I'm adult, I realize, thank you,
Mhm.
because I finally found the point where I was like, "Okay, I'm ready to change." I was 19 when I finally begged for, rehab. I'd already gone to 2 outpatient rehabs, and then at this time, I failed another drug test, and they were like, "Okay, well, you're going away." And I was like, "No." I'm ready to change. So went to an inpatient rehab in Texarkana. Wonderful place. It was terrifying in the moment, of course, like terrifying. Um, and plus driving out there feels like forever. And then they take me to this place and I'm like in the middle of the woods. And after I've been there for like 8 months, I found out I'm not in the middle of the woods. Like the town's like right there. Um,
Texarkana isn't that
it's
big.
not very big. But, whenever you're just so far out of your mind, you never really see the big picture. So while I was in there, you were very limited on your activities, on what you can do with your free time, which was not much. So I found the exercise room because I'd always kind of been fairly active, when I was younger. So I found these DVDs or DVDs. They had like kickboxing, Tabata, whatever that is, I don't know. And then they also had yoga. And I was like, you know what? I've always been curious about yoga. And so I started doing these yoga videos. I did them every day. And I only got an hour at this time. It's like the middle of the day, I would go do the yoga. And at the end of my day, so you got to go outside in the morning, right after lunch, and then at night, right before you went to bed. So in the morning, we only were able to walk in this parking lot. At lunchtime, we kinda had free time, so we could either go outside, we could go to the exercise room, or we could, stay in the dining hall. So I would go to the exercise room and do the yoga every day. And in the evening, I would go out there and run. Mind you, the whole time I'm doing this, I'm wearing, like, a gel uniform, like, they were purple. The
Not this
color was like
not this pretty.
no, it was not as pretty at all. But, I it really helped me find an outlet to keep moving, especially my mind. Because when you're in there, you're so still, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. Your mind is running a million miles a minute, and you either write, read, or exercise
Or do yoga.
or do yoga. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I need to move my body because that helps slow down my mind. And once I started doing yoga, I was like, okay, like this is it. I mean, I was able to slow down my breathing, be alone, be with my thoughts and my breath, and move with this random lady on this DVD screen.
I was gonna say random question, but do you remember who taught those
I
yoga?
have no idea because I love them, and I trust me, I tried so
To
hard
find
to
them?
remember, like, what did it even look like? But just brain was not it. That's where my yoga journey began, and I was like, "I've gotta take this with me." So whenever I got out, after about 10 months, got home and kinda started getting caught up in the same sad, like, just depressed mindset, and I was like, "You know what? I'm going to yoga." I was like, I'm gonna go try it." And I had to go all the way to Kilgore. It was like 30 minutes. It's not all the way. It was only 30 minutes, but it was once a week. And I was like, man, I really enjoy this. Those classes were bomb at Kilgore. They were amazing. And I was like, okay, I need this. In that relationship, I was not allowed to continue this. And I was like, okay. At that point, I was very codependent, so had to stay in the relationship. Then years go by. In the time that I was getting married, I remember right before we did the wedding. I was so distraught. My shoulders, they didn't fit. So I went to yoga at Freedom,
Okay.
and I took the trauma informed class and like just started shaking out of it. I bawled, just bawled in
Mhm,
that class.
mhm.
And I was like, okay, that was great. And then I went again shortly after my wedding because I was like, it's not it. And I just needed, like, that release. I needed to come back to the mind. I needed to find somewhere to just let go. And went again. I was like, "Okay," bawled again. And then I got divorced.
'Kay.
And then I found here. And I've been coming every day just about since then because I realized something with yoga. Every time life has got hard, like, I'm in the ruts, don't know how to get out, don't know what to do, and I do not wanna go back to drugs.
Yoga
But
is there.
yoga has always been there. Yoga has always been something that I can go do to help clear my mind, breath, and chill out because 'cause I'm an overthinker. I overthink, I think of all and it's not even like I overthink all the good possibilities, it's always the bad
Yeah,
possibilities. But yoga's helped me change that though,
yeah,
and the people that I've learned to
yeah.
love in this place is there's so much good out there, and yoga has brought that into my life. And that I couldn't imagine at this point in my life, I could not imagine doing life without yoga, knowing what it has done for me and how it has pulled me out of the depths and shown me that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep moving, keep moving, keep breathing,
Mhm.
and you'll be all right. And it's going to be okay. And I'm in charge. I can do whatever, just like on your mat. Like you can do whatever you want on this mat, and that's okay.
Mhm.
You just want to lay there, lay there. You need to make a change. You want to do something different, do something different. You want to listen to what they're telling you to do it, and that is really, I mean, carry that into my life. And for me, yoga is life. Life. I mean, I couldn't imagine it without it.
Yeah,
Really could not.
yeah.
Yeah. Biggest tool I think I've used ever for anything. Biggest tool. And I try to tell so many people about that, and I know they think I'm crazy like my sister.
A tool you use to save your life.
Yes, tool I use for sure to save my life. It is
I
crazy.
love I love the "you're in control" here, though. It's a cue that I give most of the time in plank pose. Like, I have them hold a plank pose,
Yes.
and I've had a couple of students that tell me, like, it's their favorite thing that I say to them in plank pose, "You're in control
Yeah.
here." So, like, I walk them through, like, how to set up their body and then remind them, "You're in control here."
Yeah.
And they're like, "It makes me feel like a baddie."
Yeah.
Like, but you are. You are a baddie.
You are.
You are a baddie.
Yes.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
rabbit.
I
Squirrel.
love it. No, good squirrel. Because it is,
Squirrel.
it's so true. I mean, I think too, like that is what got me a lot, even in the videos. I wish I could remember what they said. but it was so encouraging, just everything that she was saying on this video, and I was like, is it really that is life really that easy?
Is it really that simple?
Is it that simple?
Because
Yeah,
my guess is she was just asking you to tap into yourself.
yeah,
Is it really
and
that simple?
yes, and I'm like, because my dad would always be like, "Just stop trying, just do it," and I'm like, "Okay,
Okay.
it's not that easy." And now that I'm an adult, I was an adult then, but now I am really an adult, I
When
get it.
you're not in the throes of addiction.
Yeah, and that's true too, yeah. Like, real life really is pretty simple when you break away I feel like it's excuses, and I feel like sometimes here in my mat, I'm like, "Oh, I don't wanna do this or I don't wanna do that," and it's why? Well, because it's just an excuse, and I'm like, Stop doing that because then I carry it, and that's I don't know, just through my yoga journey, it has taught me many, life
Mhm.
lessons. If you let it, I think it
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
Well, I say that all the time, like, your mat will be a mirror
Mm,
for you if you let it,
right.
and some people don't want to let it, and that's okay.
That's fine.
You don't have to, you can just be here for a workout, but I've learned so much about myself on my mat. It will become a mirror for how
Right.
you live your life outside of your mat,
Definitely.
and I see it over and over again, how I show up on my mat, I show up out there.
How
Yeah.
am I treating myself and others?
Yeah. How do I talk to myself?
Yes.
How do I approach hard situations? How like, all of it is there. It's a mirror.
And that's what I love, and I know as an instructor, I don't do them as often, um, I guess
Mhm.
as I think I should. But it's an intention, having an intention for
Oh,
class, because I know they speak to me personally whenever I'm in a class and an instructor says an intention,
like me?
and
You
yes,
talking about
like
me?
you, and it gets me, and I'm like, I of all days, I needed to hear that today, and I think that also plays a huge part into just yoga being life, is having that positivity,
Yeah.
you know? I know here in our studio, it's always an uplift every time you come to class, and that is so important. I know in my daily life, I mean, I couldn't imagine it not being important in everyone's life,
Yeah.
where you need at least an hour, 45 minutes to an hour of a positive atmosphere, just a nothing but positive
Yeah.
atmosphere, and that's what yoga has always done for me.
Well, and sometimes that intention is about just showing up as you are, even if like
Right. Yeah, I mean, sometimes
some
we have bad days.
yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's about just letting it be as it is. I
Right,
mean, and but that doesn't have to be a negative experience because this is real life,
right.
and we go through all kinds of different things outside the store. So sometimes I need to bring that in with me to make sense of it. I come to yoga to make life make sense,
Oh, yeah.
to make
Oh,
life make
yeah.
sense again because sometimes life it be life and it doesn't make
Sometimes you
sense.
don't.
Yeah.
It's like you said
Right
that
away.
wave. Cause yeah, sometimes it is, you're like, what is happening? I need yoga."
I need yoga.
For me, that's definitely what it
Yeah.
is. I mean, enough about me. What about you,
Well,
Courtney?
my story is not as cool or as interesting as yours,
I don't know if it would be
but
the word is cool.
I mean, it's a cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yours is a cool story too, though.
it is. I mean, I think any way that people find yoga is cool,
Right.
honestly. Um, so I was at a point in my life, I was going to the gym all the time. I was lifting heavy weights at the time. That
Mhm.
was my jam. That was what yeah, it's what I loved at the time. And my dad kept asking me to go to a yoga class with him. He had started taking yoga, and I brushed him off for quite some time. I don't even know how much time. We'll act like it wasn't that long, but I feel like it was quite a while. 'Cause I wanna say my dad was doing yoga for almost a year before I went to a class. Like,
Dang.
he had been going, he had an old high school classmate that, got him to try a class. I think he was going to visit her, and she was like, "I wanna take you to a yoga class," and I might be speaking out of turn, I don't think that I am. But I wanna say that he, at the time, was like, "Well, I'm not gonna look like a fool when I go
Right.
and take this, first ever yoga class, in front of this woman." So, he started going to a local class and was like, "I'm gonna," and he has said that many times. He tells people that advice often, that, don't just go once,
Right.
at least give it 3 to 5 tries.
Yeah,
He
you
was
can't.
like, "If I had just went one time and didn't go back, I wouldn't have figured out that I loved it." But he kept going, and so the lady that talked him into going, I consider her part of my yoga tree,
Right.
because she
Oh,
convinced
yeah.
him to go and he convinced me to go, but it was probably a year later. And I mean, I remember saying to him, it looked boring to me. All I had really ever seen was some videos,
Right.
of it, not even like a whole class, just videos stretching. And I was like, "It looks kinda boring," and I wasn't flexible, so I was like, "I'm not gonna be good at that."
Right.
So, I had just kinda already dismissed it in my mind, and he has my dad has this way of encouraging you to do something with a strong arm that makes you want to do it. So,
Right.
I finally was just I said, "Yes, dad, I will go, just don't ask me again." Um and I think it was the day before I was out at his house, and, my husband and I were there, and I finally said, "Yes, I will go," and I convinced my husband to go with me, which was amazing. And so he was showing me at his house, he was showing me some of the things they do, and I was like, I am not flexible." And then I would get down and try it, and he'd be like, "Well, you're more flexible than me." So, but I was, like, I went with them. I wanna say it was the next day, I went to a class with him, and I was so nervous walking in the door. I just remember thinking, like, "Everyone's gonna be looking at me. I'm gonna fall on my face," like, all these
Mhm.
things, which is probably what half the people think when they come to their first class. And I always say that the hardest step is the first one through the door. Just get through the door, roll out your mat, see what shows up.
Right.
That's the hardest step, is the one through the door. And so I went and I fell in love with it. I remember the instructor that I took from, and she kinda ended up being my mentor, like, all the way through going through teacher training. And we were in Pigeon, we were in Half Pigeon, and I remember she leaned in close to me and said, "You're gonna be hooked like the rest of us,"
Oh, yeah.
and she was right. So, 6 months later, I was signed up for teacher training and started
That's
teacher
awesome.
training, and, 5 months after that, I graduated and started teaching. So, thank you, dad.
It
Appreciate you for
yeah.
getting me to a class. I obviously fell in love with it, but it was a time in my life that I had spent a lot of years showing up for other people.
Right.
I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. 2 of them are adults now, but at the time, they were all still in my house,
Right.
and, I'd spent a lot of years just showing up for other people and just trying to do my best. Um
Mhm.
so yeah, I grew up in a very, chaotic environment. My mom has some mental health issues that she has never wanted to address,
Mhm.
and so it was a very
There you go, yeah.
unstable environment, for me, and I carried that story with me throughout the rest of my life. And so I learned how to please people. Like, that
Right.
that is what I took from my childhood. I learned how to,
Limit chaos.
yeah, like, read people
Mhm.
and the energy that they brought in and cater to what they needed. And I spent a lifetime pretty much doing that until, I became a mom. And obviously, like, you can't control all of those scenarios.
Right.
And so I was fine until I would finally just kind of blow up. And it was this tornado would, come in. So I'd spent a lot of years. I knew I wanted to be better,
Right.
but I didn't really know how. And so I started teacher training, and that was a life-changing experience for me. My kids will tell you there was me before and there was me after,
Mhm.
and I'm not the same person. So, that's really what yoga provided for me, was a safe place for me to be me.
Right.
And that's probably why this space I have made all about that. In teacher training, I remember we would go through classes and stuff. And I remember them asking me at one point, "What are you running from?" Because you were always trying to take the pose to the next level,
Right.
right? Like, and I was everything. It was just like, okay, well, what's next? Okay, got that. What's next?
Right.
And I remember them asking me, "So, where are you not staying in your life that you should be staying?" Because yoga
Yeah.
it is a mirror for your life, and I was just puzzled by that. I mean, I went home, I asked my husband, I asked my kids, I asked my dad. I was just like, they present, and I have to answer them when I go back, and I don't know the answer. And so I started journaling about it, which ironically is what I tell people to do in my teacher training program now, to journal about it, see what comes up. And what I figured out was that I wasn't running in my life from anything. I felt I was stuck somewhere I didn't want to be in my life. And my yoga mat was where I found that freedom to be and
To do.
run, to
Yeah.
do whatever I wanted. Because in my life, I felt very stuck with where I was at. So taking that off the mat, I became unstuck. It was just, okay, so I need to fix this
Right.
and make my life happier where I'm at.
Right.
And I did. I found yoga almost 8 years ago. I've been so May will make 7 years teaching.
That's awesome.
May will make 7 years teaching.
I love how you say that your mat was a place for you to be you,
Yeah.
because that's what when I started coming here after my divorce, it was so nice to be able to come here after that and just trying to figure out who I am again.
Yeah.
And I had known this yoga stuff. And it's always something that I came back to, and when I really dove into it, I was like, this really, because I had always, because of what it did for me, I was like, man, this is something I would love to give other people. And whenever I started coming daily, I was like, this is definitely something that I want to give other people, you know.
No.
You know what? You mentioned earlier that like your first yoga class was like in front of a lot of people. I'm so glad mine was a video and I was by myself. That I would have been so nervous,
Mhm.
you know. And then when I went to Kilgore, there was like 50, 60 people in the room. I was like, nobody cares about me in here. But coming to a small, I remember walking in here the first time and I sit right
I
here
remember
in
your
the
first
very
class.
back.
I remember your first
Don't look
class.
at me. And then I think I only came like one or two other times. And I think, I'm pretty sure it was Debbie. And she was like, wait, you're new here. And I was like,
Mhm.
you got me.
Mhm.
You got me.
Mhm.
And that, that it shouldn't be, don't be afraid to come to your first yoga class because you're going to find something magical.
It's really cool too to see, we talk a lot about how we wanted this to be a space of community where everyone is welcome. I have been to studios that I didn't feel welcomed. It should never be that way.
No.
Um, but the cool part is, I think that as instructors, if you present that vibe, what I'm watching happen is students have started doing the exact same thing.
Right.
So I was telling you, like, last week I had a new girl that came to class, and I was busy getting someone's account, something set up.
Mhm.
And I watched a couple of our students who come all the time, I mean, they're newish,
Right.
within the last 6 months or so, and I watched them walk over and just welcome them in with open arms. "Are you new here? What's your name?" "I'm so and so." welcome in. Let me show you in the back.
Right.
Here's where all our stuff is. Do you need to go to the bathroom? Here's some bathroom." Like, they
Right,
walked
yeah.
him through the entire studio, and I was just so grateful because that's like, had I had that experience my first yoga class, it would have been magical.
Yes.
I loved the practice, and so that's what I took from that. It's not that the studio that I went to was bad.
Right.
It was just different. It was different than what I presented. The takeaway from that really is that
How was that?
if you are trying to get into yoga, try different classes.
Yes, for sure.
Because there are like, if you go to a yoga class and you're like, "I didn't love that," try again. Try again with someone
Yes.
new. Maybe try at a new studio too.
Yes.
I'm big on understanding, like, my classes aren't gonna be for everyone,
Right.
and here we're more about, or me, I should say, my classes are more about come out of your life, come out of the experiences that you've had, and just let yourself be. I don't care if you come and lay here and just lay flat on your mat and breathe for the entire hour.
Right.
No one's gonna look at you twice. I promise you. Nobody look Actually, somebody might look at you and be a little bit jealous because they might just wanna be doing the same thing.
Right.
Um, I don't care if you
And at the same time
are.
too, I mean, not even just jealousy, I feel like that it's an encouragement,
Yeah.
like,
Do you
"Oh,
know how
that's
hard it
something that I wanna
is?
work for."
Do you know how hard it is to find rest when everyone is moving?
That really helps circle us back to the whole point of the podcast is
What we're missing.
what we're missing, like, what
Yeah.
the yoga community I feel like where it started at.
And can we just talk about none of yoga was written down for
No,
thousands of
thousands of
years.
years.
So it was all word of mouth. It was all
We're
community built.
community, we're sharing ideas, passing down knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
And so who are you in a way to say that it's wrong or right? No. So here on this podcast, that's what we hope to not necessarily debunk, but just share our insight of what we
Our
feel like,
thoughts.
yeah, what is missing. Maybe it is a bit of the Eastern world. Maybe it is a bit of the Western world. Maybe it is a bit of open-mindedness,
Yeah.
and community
Yeah.
and tying it all together instead of being like, "Oh, this is right," or "This is right," or "You're wrong."
Yeah.
In that, because nah, you've created that here, and we've made it grow so much
Yeah.
because it and I think that's why it's grown,
Mhm.
is because people like, "Oh, I can come here and be me and unlock and open doors that I thought were possible, but never had the encouragement to do."
Yeah.
And I think that is amazing because it's like in therapy, right? As counselors, you're planting a seed,
Yeah.
and you're hoping that seed, grows
Yeah.
later on. And the same thing in these walls. Like you're like, okay, yeah, you're awesome. You're doing it. I want you to I know you can whenever you're ready.
Mhm.
I know you can.
Mhm.
And watching that seed grow and blossom is beautiful.
It's magical.
It's magical. That's what I live for. That right there.
Yeah.
The seed growing and blossoming. That's just the most amazing thing. Just ah, and uh, uh, you can't do that when you're being told stay in this box.
Yeah.
You can't be that whenever you're not welcome into a space. You can't be that whenever you're mean girled out and left on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You can't be that when you're constantly told that's not the right way.
Mhm.
It takes a place, a space, people, community who want to uplift you,
Mhm.
not a place where they want you to stay exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
And I think, that's what we have here. And that's amazing. It is nothing short but magical.
Yeah.
And that's what the podcast is about, you guys. Just so you know, that's what it's about.
Which, speaking of, you know, if you guys have things that you want to hear talked about or addressed, like, let us know, because
Yeah.
we
Comment. Let
we
us know.
we literally just go on these we have for years now,
Lit
2
Yeah,
years
2
that you've
years.
been teaching for me, and you were here for a year before that, so that we have went on, like, these tangents of talking about yoga and what we feel like it should be, what we're missing, all of these things, and we finally just decided, "Let's start filming it and just see what happens, talk about different
Yes.
things." I was telling you, like, we had a student the other day that said, like, "We're kinda talking about the elephant in the room when it comes to yoga studios," and I loved that.
Love it.
I loved that so much